Here's the assembled grow bag setup and the gravity feed water container. So what I did was I got a special adapter right here that goes from 3/4 inch pipe thread to a male garden hose adapter. Then I have a garden hose to 1/2 inch irrigation pipe adapter. That's a common item you can buy anywhere the irrigation pipe is sold. And then I put a couple elbows in here and a couple valves. Here's my main irrigation line run, and there's a valve at the end down here. You've got your grow bags, and you can see one of the Ollas is already sitting half in the bag. You would actually dig that down a little bit deeper and put it about in the middle of the bag. Then the 1/4 inch irrigation line comes off of that, and what you're going to do is you're going to use a tool to punch holes in your main line and go ahead and just plug that in, any number of Ollas along here, so that when the valves are opened, water will gravity feed down through the system, go up into the Ollas, and fill them completely with water, and it'll stop when they're full. And you can use any kind of container on the end here. I'm just using one of these Walmart water containers that you can get from Reliance. If you had a big rain barrel with an on-off spigot at the bottom, that'd be even better, because then you can just go ahead and connect this directly to it. You won't need a funny adapter. Now, to explain the valve system down here, what I did was I just added 2 PVC valves in here. You can close this main valve, and it'll keep water from coming down out of the water container and into the lines if you've got to go ahead and service anything down here. Also, when that valve is closed, you can open this valve, and it's got a garden hose to 1/2 inch pipe adapter in here with a quick release. Attach your garden hose here, turn on the garden hose, and you can control it with this valve. You can flood water back up into your main container, so you can fill this right up. When you're done, go ahead and shut off your garden hose, come over to this one, open it up, and then you'll get your gravity feed into all the Ollas. Also, initially when you go to start this thing up, you could leave both of these valves open and go ahead and use the garden hose to blow air from the line. Go ahead and open the end valve that's on the end of your main irrigation line, and it'll blow most of the air out. You could also do it with the pressure from the gravity feed too. That'll work. The hose would also push a little bit into the pipes if you keep it down low. Mainly this shutoff valve here is kind of a safety, so that you're not running really high pressure garden hose into the Ollas, which would blow the tubes out of them. So pretty much use this to fill, and then try to use gravity feed to push the air bubbles out. Here's a close-up of the 2 valve setup. I've just got a couple elbows in here to make it fancy and look all neat, but it's coming down, and you just put a T in and a 90-degree connector that goes into pipe thread. These valves are 1/2 inch PVC valves with 1/2 inch threaded ends on both sides. So you get these gray PVC barb connectors from Home Depot, and they will screw right in there, and then they have a barb that fits perfectly on 1/2 inch irrigation hose. I use Toro blue stripe hose on here because it's a little bit thicker. The rest of the hose is just Dig brand, which is a little cheaper and a little bit thinner, because I couldn't get the Toro out here. But if you have a chance at a Home Depot or other type of agricultural or lawn irrigation supplier, you should be able to find Toro blue stripe irrigation line, and it comes in 1/2 inch, 3/4, 1 inch, whatever size you need. Here's a close-up of the valve I put in at the end. This is a 1/2 inch irrigation pipe valve, which can be bought in the same place all the drip irrigation supplies are sold. And what I did is I put a little piece of hose coming off the valve so that you don't drag the end of the barb around in the gravel and everything like that and scratch it all up and wreck it. So, it's nice to put a little piece on there just to protect the valve itself. And all you do is, once you have the whole system ready to gravity feed, you'll open the valve up, and this can purge air from the main line. I'm going to go ahead and use a punch tool to go ahead and install the 1/4 inch line coming off the Olla into the main line. These tools are about $10. They have a little punch that's spring-loaded that comes out of there. Has a small hole drilled in the center, so it makes a nice, neat hole in 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch irrigation pipe. There's an adapter that slides out of this to do the larger pipe, but it comes preset for 1/2 inch. So we're going to go ahead and punch a little hole where we need it to go, then plug the barb in. Now, what you want to do is, you only want to do this once. If you pull your barb out or make a mistake and have to stick it back in again, what you're going to wind up getting is a leak right there. So go ahead, take your line, set it down into the tool, hold it there. It makes a nice punched hole. Take your barb fitting for the Oya, twist it a little as it goes in. You'll hear it snap. And what I do is I squeeze a little bit here and pull it back. What that does is that pulls a little bit of the plastic of the main irrigation line back to seal the hole a little better. And there it is. So you have a main 1/2 inch trunk line, and you can put as many of these Oyas off of it as you want, because it'll easily gravity feed to all of them. And as long as your water supply is higher than your Oyas, they will fill even 12 inches off the ground like this. The flow comes out really decent. So just go ahead and either put a container up on a stand or use a really big rain barrel mounted up there. Alright, now I'm going to show you how the Oya fills itself. I'm going to go ahead and purge air from the main line, and we're going to watch as the water fills up inside here. All the air and water will eventually leak right out of this because the terracotta is porous. So you'll see, you know, the wetness kind of move up here and wick up the sides, and you might even see little droplets of water coming through some of the pores in here. So that's what makes these things great. They wick just enough moisture into the soil. Okay, so you notice the water has reached about 2 inches high inside the pot, and we got a little bit more to go, almost to the top. And you can see little beads of water over here starting to wick their way through the terracotta. And we're almost full, and you can see quite a bit of water starting to wick its way through here. And this is the sun, you know, hitting the surface here, and as the sun evaporates off some of this, more will be pulled through by capillary action. So these work pretty nice. Now we see lots of moisture coming through. And it takes around maybe 20 minutes for each one of these to fill. And normally you would bury this deep down in there in the middle of your container. And the plant roots will grow down and grow all around this.